आप सभी को मेरा नमस्कार। आज टीचर्स डे की हार्दिक इतने बढ़िया फेस्टिवल पे आप सभी को शुभकामनाएं कि आप अपने टीचर्स को याद करते रहें। आप में से बहुत सारे लोगों को पता ही होगा कि इंडिया में जो टीचर्स डे है वो 5 सितंबर को मनाया जाता है। और वो किस लिए मनाया जाता है? वो हमारे सेकंड प्रेसिडेंट सर्वपल्ली राधाकृष्णन जी के बर्थडे पर सेलिब्रेट किया जाता है। तो आई एम श्योर टीचर्स डे की हर किसी के लिए, चाहे वो किसी भी कंट्री का हो, अलग अलग यादें हैं। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, हिंदू ट्रेडिशन में गुरु पूर्णिमा पे टीचर्स का सम्मान किया जाता है, उनको रिस्पेक्ट दी जाती है। और अगर देखा जाए तो ऑल ओवर द वर्ल्ड, नॉट जस्ट द टीचर्स डे, बहुत और भी अलग अलग दिन हैं जब अलग अलग कंट्रीज़ में टीचर्स डे सेलिब्रेट किया जाता है। तो अगर आप स्क्रीन पे देखेंगे तो आपको पता चलेगा, ये जितनी भी आपको कंट्री दिख रही हैं, अलग अलग कंट्री में अलग अलग डेट पर टीचर्स डे सेलिब्रेट किया जा रहा है। तो एवरी कंट्री हैज़ इट्स ओन रोल जब वो टीचर्स को रिस्पेक्ट देते हैं, टीचर्स को याद करना चाहते हैं और टीचर्स के लिए काम करते हैं। तो आज इस शो में हमने एक चीज़ अलग करी है। हमने ये चीज़ करी है कि क्यों ना हम लोगों को इनवाइट करें और जानें कि उनकी टीचर्स डे के लिए क्या अलग अलग स्टोरी हैं। क्योंकि देखा ये गया है कि एवरी वन हैज़ देयर यूनिक स्टोरी अबाउट टीचर्स, सम मेमरी, सम स्पेसिफिक मेमरी अबाउट टीचर्स दैट दे वांट टू शेयर विद अदर्स। और इसी चीज़ में आज हमारे साथ हैं विद्या, जो आपके साथ शेयर करने वाली हैं कि उनकी क्या ब्यूटीफुल मेमोरी है अबाउट हर टीचर, और वो उनको शेयर कैसे करने वाली हैं। तो लेट मी इनवाइट विद्या टू दिस शो, जहाँ पर वो रियल एजुकेशन पे शेयर करने वाली हैं कि उनको किस टीचर के बारे में बताना है, क्या ब्यूटीफुल मेमोरी है और कैसे उस चीज़ ने उनको अपने टीचर से और ज़्यादा कनेक्ट किया। तो आई एम जस्ट कनेक्टिंग, इट विल टेक फ्यू सेकेंड। Yes, Vidya, can you? I think something happened. Just give me a second again. Vidya, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Vikas. I don't know if you are able to hear me.
Yes, you are loud and clear. Thanks.
Perfect. So, thank you so much, Vikas, for having me here on this because I think this couldn't have been a better occasion
Yes.
than to really thank the people who really made difference in my life. And I'm truly blessed to be where I am today, all because of those people. So, before I really start off or talk about who are those people who really made this difference, I would like to
One
start with.
second, Vidya. 1 second. Probably audience would also be interested in that. They want to know more about you, and then they want
Okay,
to add and know more about your teacher. So, can you quickly share more about you? What do you do?
sure. Yeah. So, for benefit of everybody, my name is Vidya GV and I work as a learning professional. Been in the field of learning and development for about 15 years, and that's where I said that today's day wouldn't have been, any other day but the best day to really talk about those people who have been behind making who this person that you see on the screen. So, when we talk about being a learning professional, it's a lifelong learning. So, what really brought me here are some of those people, and that is exactly why I thought that I would first probably give them the gratitude and then talk about me because I am an offshoot or a result of their patience, their perseverance, their learning and effort, and thus they come first and I come later.
Wow, that's beautiful insight, beautiful thought. I must appreciate you for that.
And that is where I would like to start with a quote for them, which is Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai She, Guruve Namaha. So I think today's day, we all know we celebrate as Teachers' Day. And when we talk about teachers, it's not just about the academic teachers that are part of our life. Teachers could be from any space, any phase of your life, and the first teachers of any child is the parent. I think, and that is where we say charity begins at home, and that's where the first stepping stone of knowledge, of education, of mannerisms, of values, of behaviors is just set in. And those two people who are the pillars of your strength are your father and your mother, and I think the first teachers of any child. So I would like to really say I think I'm blessed today to be where I am because I think had it not been these two epitomes of my energy, the strength pillars, I wouldn't have been where I am. And yes, they are the first two people. But yes, when we talk about really coming into the real world, it's a different ball game altogether, because a real world is very different from the imaginary world that we are in. With parents, we are in a very closed environment, a protective layering, because these two people will stop everything that comes your way and will always guard you. But then when you're talking about coming in professional world, it is it's like your survival for the fittest. How do you really progress? You really have to fight it out. And today, I think I'm really blessed to be talking about my first mentor. And because of God's grace, I would say, I think I've had a lot of time and an extended life with that mentor, and that is none other than my better half, Pravasi Bhushan.
Wow.
I would like to really thank him to to be there, and he's always been there as a support. My first professional mentor who really helped me understand what this learning profession is all about. How do you really interact with people? How do you progress? What do you do? And yes, I mean, who had ever thought that this mentor is going to be my lifelong mentor? So yes, that's my better half. And if we have had a nice journey of 13 years of togetherness, and it's still a learning every day.
So
So
just curious, Vidya,
thank you to
I'm
everybody.
there to interrupt you. So is it only one side mentoring, or there is a reverse mentoring too?
It is indeed a reverse mentoring, because when we talk about two of us, I think we're completely opposite. And recently, incidentally, I would share something interesting. Is that I was doing a psychometric test, and I was telling my husband that, hey, you know what? You are completely opposite of my wheel. So what I am, you are completely opposite. So I think that is where, when we hear that uh, matches are made in heaven, and it's the polar opposites which attract. I think it's so true. And way back then, I probably never understood this concept of physics, but now I do.
Beautiful.
So that is interesting perspective. And apart from that, I think some other people that I would like to really thank through this medium is another person who was my English teacher when I was in seventh standard. So when I was seventh, eighth, and ninth and 10th, I did it from a boarding school. And the person was our English teacher, and she was also the principal of the school, and that is Miss Deepa Dogra. So she's another person who's really inspired me. And I today, again, through this forum, would like to share my gratitude to her, because had she not been there, I think I wouldn't have become an author that I am today. So she was the one to really support me, instill me. At the same time, she supported me when the entire world was against me. Nobody really believed, but she was that one teacher who believed in me and constantly kept harnessing something that I never knew was my strength. And today, when I saw my first baby, which is my book in my hand, it was like the same teacher standing there and saying that, you always had that strength, you just needed a bit of nudge. So thank you so much, Deepa ma'am, for being there. Thank you, my parents, for being there. Thank you, my better half, my fighting partner, my brainstorming partner, and my first professional mentor. And yes, the last but not the least, two other people as part of my professional journey is one more is Richa Sethi, and the other one is Sheena Hivale. These are again two people who've had a lot of contribution in my professional journey. Two of my other mentors as part of my profession, as part of my managers, who have really groomed me in becoming what a people manager is. So kudos to them, and thanks and a lot of gratitude to them.
So
Thank you so much, Vikas. I think I'm done now.
no, I,
The
I I
list
have
can
just
be
couple of
continued.
question for you. So one question came up. What is the name of your book? So audience might be interested in knowing that too.
So the name of the book is I Am Possible, and it is
Wow.
available on Amazon, and it's apparently one of the best sellers.
Sure. So I'll
And
I'll take
it's
the
actually
link from
oh,
you later and put it on the chat box
absolutely
so that further people
sure,
can also refer to your book.
certainly.
Yes. And second is, so beautifully when we talk about typically teachers, we only usually think from only from the line of school or college teachers. But it is so beautiful to see that you have actually completed the full spectrum of life. So it's like you are an epitome of that. That when student is ready, teachers appear. So it's like from the beginning you have your teachers in your family, then definitely your school and college part is there, and then in the corporate also, which actually shows your constant learning. But while you have shared all the names, do you like to share any particular incident or conversation, some story that happened that actually triggered you and you still feel emotional about that story with any of these teachers?
So as I said, when I was actually in eighth standard, I didn't really score well, and apparently had very bad grades. And in fact, that time my first teachers were also not very happy, which was my parents. They were slightly disappointed, and my father was like, "What happened to you? And you've never scored so bad. I mean, what's wrong with you?" And he was really not expecting. So that is when Miss Dogra, that is my English teacher, she actually told my father that it's okay, it happens. I know she's got a lot of potential, and probably this particular year has not been very great for her, and she was not able to perform. However, I know that she's bright and she'll be able to do it. And at the same time, I think I also had a lot of other teachers who actually turned down, saying that you're hopeless. And I'm sure you would agree, Vikas, and I'm sure the audience here would agree that when a child is growing up, it's very important that we provide that constant motivation. And especially when you're talking about being in school and wherein you spend a lot of your time, and being in boarding school, the only people you could see is your teachers day in day out, be it in your school time, be it in your uh, personal time, because either of them would be your wardens or probably some other guardians. So you spent a lot of time there as boarding as hostlers. So in those cases, when you interact with them so much, you're constantly seeing them and you're constantly getting those comments. So you really don't have any space to hide out, vent out. So that was a time wherein Miss Dogra, when the way she said, and I remember my father was just not convinced, and the way she beautifully convinced him, saying that I know she's going to make it one day very big and she'll make you proud. And I think today, when I actually wrote my book and the story was published, and it's actually a co-authored book by other 21 authors along with me, it was certainly a sense of pride. And I think today, through this channel, as I said earlier as well, I wanted to say her thanks. The moment I saw my book, the first person I wrote on LinkedIn was for her, that
Wow.
you know what, had you not been there, I wouldn't have been a writer today.
So
So
such a
this was
beautiful
one instance
story.
I
I
would like to
I
share.
I, I must say that when you were telling your story, I was getting that goosebumps. Yes, because when we have that kind of admiration for our teacher, and different people have gone through that cycle when people did not trust them, and then there was this that supporting hand which was provided at the right time and which took them to the right place. So thanks Vidya for sharing your story about your favorite teachers, I would say. Thanks again for joining on the show. Definitely throughout the day, we will be having more people joining on this show to share their teacher story so that they can probably share these videos. I'll provide you the link and you can use this link to share with the teachers also so that they also get to know that what their students think about them. So
Sure, certainly.
thanks for any last message for you for the viewers, what you want them to teach or tell.
So I wouldn't
Anything.
actually just talk about teach. One thing I would say is that you know it's important that we be a lifelong learner, because as it is said by a very famous person that life doesn't stop teaching, so just keep going. That is one thing I think that has kept me going, and that's where, in my own words, I say that I'm a lifelong learner. Even today, when I've completed 15 years in my professional existence, I still feel that I have loads to learn. So if this is the attitude with which we move forward, the chances of the progress will always be high. Of course, you will have ups and downs, but then if this is the thought which is guiding you as your guiding force, then I think nothing can really stop you to reach your highest potential that you are always meant to be.
Wow, so beautiful. Thanks, Vidya. Thanks again for such a beautiful message for our audience. See you later.
All right, thank you so much, Vikas, for having me here.
So, friends, here was Vidya with us sharing her teacher story. Do you have your teacher story too? Everyone has their own teacher story. Teacher may appear in the form of books or human form, but everyone has their own teacher story. And do you like to share your teacher story with us on this channel, Real Education? If you want, you can send a message on this number which I am just going to show, so that you can send me a message and we can arrange a dedicated session for you where you can share your story today, and which can be made live on this channel, and you can share that video with your teacher to help them and acknowledge your gratitude towards them. With that message, keep subscribing this channel. There is more to come and a lot more to come. See you. Bye bye. Here is your host Vikas Jain.